AD, baby. Been hunting this bear all week.
I grunted at him. He come running back in. We just smoked another giant.
Just an absolute giant. Lifetime bull for me.
Team 200 is presented by MoonGuide. Plan your best hunt. This week on Team 200, we go into the whitetail history of Randy and Scott Baker, two brothers from Minnesota with a passion to hunt and kill giant whitetail, right here on Team 200.
The Baker boys, man, that's a hard hunting duo, brothers. They get after it as hard as anybody in the country. You know, they're up there from Minnesota. So that's kind of funny for me being from South Carolina to hear those guys talk, as I'm sure it's funny for them to hear me talk. But man, it's a bond that we have as hunters. Doesn't matter where you're from. They are hardcore. They get it done, it seems like, every single year.
I think the one thing that Randy and Scott do more than most people is they go absolutely over the top with everything they do. Whether it's scouting, hanging tree stands, flying over an area to locate a buck, that no matter what they do, these guys give it 100%.
It's about 10:30. We got blown out of the tree. We get back, heading back to the truck, we spotted a big buck with two does. What we're doing is circling downwind. We're gonna try to see if we can't get in behind him. Might end up being a little longer shot than I want, but we're gonna see if we can't get him. So stay tuned and we'll see what happens.
The first thing I think of when I think about Scott Baker's footage is the big deer that he shot off the ground up in Minnesota. And they were driving around during the rut and spotted this big buck that had a doe pinned down in this big mature hardwoods, and him and his brother went after this deer on foot and ended up getting within bow range of this buck. And it was just incredible being able to watch a guy slip in and still hunt a big buck like that.
He spun into the arrow on me. We're on the ground. That was a rush.
Unbelievable.
He's a monster in my eyes. I just can't say enough.
Saw that buck last night.
We saw that buck last night.
Yeah.
Scott Baker is a hard-working whitetail hunter. I mean, you know, if anybody's gonna put the amount of effort it takes to get it done, and you know, to put his blood, sweat, and tears into it, it's got to be Scott Baker.
I don't know too many guys like Scott Baker that put in the hours year-round, whether it be scouting, getting his food plots in, checking cameras, but at the end of the day, he's always got everything done in line, and he's prepared to put himself in a right position to kill a mature whitetail.
That is a beauty. This is old trusty tree. Gotta love this tree. There he is.
Scott Baker is that hard-working, blue-collar American, you know, just everyday Joe tough guy. And, you know, he's going to put everything he's got into his hunts.
But it's got good mass. Looks like he's been rubbing on some cedars. I'm putting him, maybe 150. Man, is he a beauty, though. I am tickled. He come right in on top of us. Got a little short G2, but man, am I happy. This is a beauty.
Coming up next, Scott Baker shoots a big 9, only to find out what walks in next. And later, we visit Randy Baker and his biggest bow kill to date, right here on Team 200.
I can't believe it. We've got a giant deer on the ground. By far the biggest buck I've ever killed.
And I had a Zonix pointed. He didn't pick up anything. Gave me a 30-yard shot.
Thank God I have an Ozonics.
Start seeing more deer more often and closer than you ever thought possible with Ozonics. Ozonics is the only product that actively and continually attacks game spooking odor in the downwind airstream during your entire hunt, allowing you to beat an animal's #1 defense, its nose.
Managing his own farm in Minnesota, Scott Baker plants food plots, scouts from his paraplane, and runs trail cameras to target bucks on his hit list.
On my farm, I always try to put trail cameras out every year, and then I'll go through and check out pictures to see which deer am I gonna go after. And this particular year, I had a 9-pointer that I marked that on a checklist that it's one of the bucks I would really like to shoot. Earlier in the year, I had a good encounter with him, but the film just wasn't right. I wasn't happy with the lighting. It was, a little bit dark, so I chose to pass him that day.
Here comes some deer. Here comes some deer. It's a pretty good deer right here.
3 weeks later, it was an early, crisp October morning, and I had him coming right down the line, right to me. I had a 30-yard shot. I took a really good shot at him. I watched him go over and tip over.
Can't keep making mistakes.
And I didn't know much as turn around and looked, and another really good buck, a bigger buck than him, come walking right down the tube.
Couldn't hold back. Same trail, 160 incher, just walked past. Just what I was waiting for. Let's go get him. Walked right 30 yards, broadside. I smoked him right where he wanted to get him. Doing the interview, 160-inch 10-pointer come walking behind him. I did what I said I wasn't going to do. My finger got a little itchy. But believe it or not, the real weird thing about this story is that 160-incher came over here after he walked by us and beat the crap out of this deer laying here dead. There's blood all over this tree. Oh, I'm happy. I shot a nice buck here. I can't complain. My season's over, Minnesota's over. I guess I can maybe try to find a tag in another state, maybe. But
Coming up next, we visit Randy Baker's whitetail history, and he shares a Kansas bow hunt he'll never forget. Right here on Team 200.
From the deer farm to your front door, raw frozen scents are as fresh as you can get. Raw is 100% pure deer urine collected from real deer. Immediately after the collection process, raw scents are quickly frozen, then shipped directly to you in an insulated cooler so you get it raw, fresh, and pure. Raw frozen scents, always fresh. No water, no preservatives, and 100% money-back guarantee.
The Baker boys have filmed each other for years, capturing their Minnesota whitetail hunts.
We got him. Thank you very much, Eric, for coming all the way down here with me. Run my camera.
While filming for TV shows, things have changed. And the brothers have split up for obvious reasons.
Set that lone wolf down.
To lay down more footage.
6 days ago, my brother shot a buck out of that same tree. A buck that we had a lot of history with.
You know, the last 10 years that Scott and I have been filming together, we have found that, you know, in order to get more footage and more quality footage of some great deer we've been chasing, we had to split up. We hunted together for years and filmed for each other. We kind of went back and forth, but decided in the last 10 years it was better to split up. So we did. He's got a camera guy, I have a camera guy. We do some self-videoing, some solo cam videoing, and things on our own as well. But that was kind of key for us, being in the industry, is being able to capture more and get more on film.
We're in the right spot.
You know, it takes a lot of effort to be successful consistently on big deer, and Randy definitely puts in the effort. I mean, I've known Randy for a long time, and you know, one thing about Randy is he's just as excited about chasing big deer and getting after a big buck today as he was 10 years ago when I first met him.
Oh my God! He's laying right there.
My brother is just one of them guys that just won't give up. I mean, it's just not in his vocabulary to give up when it comes to hunting.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at the size of this thing. It's huge. So we're gonna get this little boy out of here and take some more pictures and things. So,
If you could take one thing away from this show, it would be to never quit. Don't call it quits. Keep after it, no matter how low those lows get, because you just never know what's going to happen around that next corner. But trying to find and hunt the largest whitetail, I like to put in the time and the effort that it takes to try to find and hunt the largest deer that we have on our property.
and try to videotape. I got a giant buck I've been watching out here. Been watching him for a couple of years. Busted off a half a side last year. We kind of let him go. Quit chasing him.
I think one thing you can learn about Randy is just to, you know, really don't be afraid to ask questions and really dig on either people, farmers, neighbors, whoever it is, to gather information about the area that you're hunting. Okay, no, this just has morning written all over it. Plus, you still might have acorns dropping down in there.
We got food plot on top. Listen, listen. Got a grunt down here. Bruce, big buck, big buck.
For over 2 decades, the MoonGuide has been the #1 rated tool for serious hunters, telling you when giant whitetails will move and where you need to hunt. Now, you can accurately predict the best days and times to catch a big buck moving during daylight with the Deer Hunter's MoonGuide. Are you tired of hunting nocturnal trail camera bucks? Do you ever wonder why some bucks only show up during daylight on certain days each year? The Deer Hunter's MoonGuide is here to help, and it's unlike any other lunar tool you've ever seen. For effective preseason scouting, scheduling time off work, planning out-of-state hunts, and increasing your overall hunting success, simply check the MoonGuide's calendar to find the best days, times, and hunting locations to catch a mature deer on his feet during daylight hours. The MoonGuide is now available as a mobile app too, giving you exclusive tips from the pros, local weather, the rut guide, exclusive discounts, and the deadly red moon data. Plan your best hunt at moonguide.com. Randy Baker is hunting Kansas with outfitter and Team 200's Chris Seymour. It's November 10th, and the rut is in full swing.
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was calm as a library in this woods. There wasn't a breath of wind, and we heard an absolute billowing grunt. I picked up my binoculars, and here he come.
Bruce, big buck, giant buck coming up the ridge, giant buck coming up the ridge. I just shot a giant buck in Kansas. That is a stud. I couldn't tell if he was a 10 or a 12. Man, we just jacked a giant at 20 yards. He came right in. Gonna give him time. We are gonna give him time. Let him go lay down. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Sad thing is a lot of times what happens when you leave them overnight, predators. If you have a lot of predators in your area, predators might beat you to them. In this case, they did, and they've pretty much eaten this whole deer. It is pretty much gone. So sad to say. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't.
When I think of Randy, I think about a guy that's, really worried about the details and really diving into solving the puzzle of killing big whitetails. I mean, as fresh as he can gather the intel, he's going to look at it. Study the aerial photos after each hunt, just looking at how the deer moved that night. It's worrying about the little things and really paying attention to the details.
The effort it takes to harvest mature deer year after year, you have to work at it. You have to work hard at it. Things don't come easy. You'll get out of it what you put into it. So the effort in equals the results out.
But we had a great hunt. We're here in Kansas. I want to thank Chris Seymour. He's a great friend of mine. He's an awesome guy, letting us hunt his property.